All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about why some designs just work. You know, why they feel so intuitive. And here's the thing, it has way less to do with the software than you might think.
Okay, so let's start with a feeling I bet you've had. You open an app, maybe a website, and everything just clicks. It's totally effortless. You know exactly where to go. So what's the magic behind that? What's the secret sauce?
Well, it's not about some super fancy code or a crazy expensive program. The truth is, great designs speak a universal visual language. They're communicating directly with you, with your brain, and most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. Okay, so to really get this, we've got to look beyond the tools. I'm talking past the software, because it doesn't matter if you're looking at an app, a poster, or even a building. The core ideas, they're always the same. They're universal. And it really all breaks down into three simple steps. First, you have your basic components. Think of this as the alphabet of our visual language. Then we arrange those letters into a composition. That's the grammar that makes it all make sense. And finally, that composition tells a complete concept or a story to you, the user. Alphabet, grammar, story. Got it? All right, let's break this down. We're going to start at the very beginning with the absolute basics, the alphabet of design, or, what designers call the elements. And these are so fundamental, it's kind of mind-blowing. I mean, a line? It's just the path between 2 points. Easy. You close that line up, bam, you've got a shape. Give that shape some depth, now it's a 3D form. Then you add color and play with its value, how light or dark it is. Throw in some texture, mess with the size, and just like that, you literally have the entire vocabulary you need to build anything you see on a screen. It's that simple. But here's the catch, right? Just knowing a bunch of words doesn't make you a storyteller. You can't just throw them on a page. You have to know how to arrange them into sentences that actually mean something. And in design, that's where the grammar comes in. And that leads us right into the grammar of design, the principles. These are the rules, the guidelines that give our elements meaning and structure, and honestly, all their power. So you can think of these principles as like the instruction manual for that alphabet we just talked about. They're what turn a random mess of shapes and colors into something that's coherent, something that tells a story and guides your eye exactly where the designer wants it to go. Okay, let's take the principle of balance, for example. You can go for symmetrical balance, where everything is mirrored. It feels really stable, really orderly, probably because it reminds us of things in nature or architecture. Or you can go with asymmetrical balance. This is where different things are arranged so they feel like they have the same visual weight. And that creates something way more dynamic and, frankly, usually a lot more interesting to look at. Now let's talk about directing your attention. Look at this grid. It's all the same, right? So where does your eye go first? Well, nowhere in particular. There's no hierarchy, no clear place to land, so your eye just kind of wanders. It's calm, sure, but it's not telling you what's important. But watch this. See? The second we introduce something different, we break that pattern with a new shape, a new color. Boom! We instantly create a focal point. Your eye goes right there. That's the principle of emphasis. And it works because our brains are literally hardwired to notice what's different. It's all about breaking the pattern on purpose to command attention. And this shows you the real power of design, right? It's not just about making things look nice. It's about using these fundamental rules of how our minds work, visual psychology, to guide a user's focus, their emotions, and at the end of the day, their actions. And of course, there are so many other tools in this grammar toolbox. You've got harmony, which creates that smooth, unified feeling. Grouping, which tells our brains, hey, these things belong together just by putting them close to each other. Alignment brings a sense of order to the chaos. And all of these things, they work together to create a clear visual path, a flow for you to follow without even thinking about it. Okay, so we've got our alphabet, the elements. We've got our grammar, the principles. So how do we put it all together to actually tell a story, especially on something like a user interface? You have to think of a designer as basically a translator. It's their job to take the goal from the product owner, something like, we need people to buy this thing, and translate that into a message the user can understand, all through the interface. So every single button, every icon, every word on the screen, it's a line of dialogue in a conversation. And really, every single successful design is built on one central idea, just one, and that is guiding the user's attention from the most important thing to the next most important thing in a perfectly seamless, intuitive flow. Just think about a shopping app.
That big, bright Add to Cart button, that's emphasis. All the You Might Also Like items below it, that's grouping. The clean grid they're all sitting in, that's alignment. It's all about controlling the story.
Okay, this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from this whole explainer. If you remember one thing, let it be this. A tool like Figma or Photoshop or whatever, it doesn't make the design. Look, anyone can learn to use a piece of software. That's just a technical skill. It doesn't make you a designer. The tool is just the pen. It's not the author. Real design, true design, that happens up here in your mind. It's all about understanding this visual language before you even touch the mouse. It's the why behind every single choice you make, not just the how of dragging a box onto a screen. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you open your favorite app, don't just use it. Stop for a second and really look at it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to say to me? What story is it telling? What alphabet is it using? And what rules of grammar are guiding my eye? Because once you start to see the language, I promise, you'll never look at the digital world the same way again.